What does that sound, you ask?
From the number one station, you come.
Welcome to the Rec Show podcast, a show dedicated to beatmakers around the world. Kick back, relax with the host Gldnmnd.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of
All right, check. 1, 2, man. Peace and love. What's going on, everybody? I go by the name Gldnmnd, and welcome to episode 71. Man, we are 71 episodes into the Rec Show podcast, man. The show dedicated to beatmakers around the world. Yo, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me this week. Last week, we had the homie Nothing New. You know what I mean? That was an amazing conversation. So I need y'all to go back, check out episode number 70 with Nothing New after this one. All right, pay attention to this one, listen to this one first, and then you can go back into the archives and check out the conversations with every single one of my guests. But today, man, we are going back to New York. All right, we checking out the homie who's like a beat horticulturalist. He's a writer, designer. He said your favorite beat bohemian. Yo, man, like what he does with his arts is amazing, man. I tapped in a little bit late, but I went back and now I'm really like all the way tapped in. I went back in the discography and all of that stuff. So I had to shed the spotlight on him, man. It's an honor for me to have him. I want y'all to give it up and welcome the one and only Radicule Beats. How you doing, bro?
You're chilling, bro. Chilling. Damn, that was a hell of an intro, bro. I wasn't like, I wasn't prepared, man. I wasn't prepared. But nah, thank you, man. It's a blessing to be here, bro. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful day, man. Yo, thank you for coming on the show. Yo, you know, I'm tapped in with you, man, and like you supported the show like it was maybe a few months ago, man. Like giving a donation, man, and yo, we've been going back and forth with that type of energy, man. So it's only right, man. I gotta put the people onto you and do you right. So before we start, man, I gotta ask you, you know, go ahead. Introduce yourself, you know, what your name means, how your name was created, and then any record labels or any associated collectives that you might be a part of.
Yeah, for sure. Damn. Okay, how to start this? Hello. First off, what up, everybody? So yeah, basically my name, the way I kind of came up with it, basically there's kind of two meanings. So when I was younger, I started going by the name Radicule when I want to say like 13, 14. So a minute ago. I'm 26 now. But basically as a kid, like the meaning I really had for it was the combination of the words radical and molecule. So kind of just pushing those two words together. Nice. Basically, yeah, no, thank you, man. Like it was basically just like in my mind, like combining like some of the coolest things are like unseen. They're kind of like just like molecules, which we see in the physical form, but it can also affect us at a level where we can't really see it, kind of like the music. So it's like, so that was kind of like the first meaning I had for it as a kid. Like I don't know what I was on when I thought of that, because that was just like I just like remember thinking that, and I was like, all right, this concept kind of seems cool. But as I grew older, I also kind of started finding the meaning in it of like, flipping one letter in the word to ridicule. So to ridicule someone, obviously make them feel less than, make them feel, kind of like crap pretty much. But, you take one letter, the first I, and flip it to A, and to radicule someone is to build them up, kind of put them on a pedestal, make them aware of how great they are. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the more, I guess, like Webster's dictionary-esque like version that I came up with as I grew older. But both meanings mean a lot to me. You know what I'm saying?
That's a dope way to come up with a name, man.
Nah, bro. Nah, I didn't know if it was, I didn't know, like, I literally don't recall why as a kid I was even thinking on that, but you know what I'm saying? It was just letting the imagination kind of go free, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, man. Like, different planet, man. I keep telling everybody, the people I have on the show, y'all mutants, man. Like, y'all not normal people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that, for real, man. Y'all the red ones, y'all not like the normal human beings, You remember on X-Men? Yeah, man.
Yo, nah, I love, bro. Listen, don't make me go down the weeb rabbit hole, because we gonna get into it for sure. But like, man, it's an X-Men. I'm already geeked.
Yeah, man. Yo. So, I gotta ask, how long you been creating music?
So I've been creating music honestly for, I want to say, like 14 years now. Like, so I started when I was 12, and the funny thing is that like I wasn't even making beats at that time. Like, I wanted to rap. Like, I started out like rapping over like old like Lupe Fiasco instrumentals and like, like kind of like old Nas beats and stuff like that. Like, just kind of like YouTube ripping them and then burning them onto CDs and passing them out in middle school. So I was like, I really thought I was gonna be like rapping. Like, yeah, bruh, really? I used to, nah, dog. I dead ass would have my mom and my dad, who were like super supportive of the music. They like would bring me to Staples, and I'd cop like the blank 50 pack of CDs, and like we had our computer tower at the crib, and they were like, we used to always burn different CD mixes for like car rides and stuff like that. So like, I knew how to do it. So I would just like record through Audacity with the freaking like jank headset for talking crap on Call of Duty. And and legit, I'd record it through there and then through Audacity and then burn them on the CDs, and was slanging them in middle school. Like I was trying to be like I guess like a discount version DJ Screw or something, like, yeah, man. That was a lot. I realized I rambled a whole lot there, but basically,
you good. You good.
But yeah, man. But that's how I got my start in music, and I was definitely, looking back on it, I obviously was not the best at it, and I got into making beats when I was about 14, and strictly off the idea of like, all right, I can't be bad at both. I cannot be a trash rapper and a trash producer. So one's got to work out over the other, and making beats stuck. And then it kind of just helped me, grow from there.
Nice. So, if you got a story, man, just, go ahead and let your story out, man. Like, I love hearing about how it comes. Like, I was selling candy in middle school. You were selling raps in middle school. Like, we was trying to hustle, man. That entrepreneurial spirit, bro.
Bruh, nah, for real. I always remember there was one teacher, Miss Nolan, that I went to school with. She was like our math teacher, and she was one of the teachers that really was like, oh, like, you out here hustling, like really, because I remember giving her a CD, and she was just like, oh, like, it's crazy because when people see, like, I guess, like, when you engage in a craft or engage in something that's positive and that keeps you, I guess, out of trouble, there are a lot of people that are really willing to like nurture that. And, so I got to give a lot of props to the people that either still have those CDs. Please do not let those get out. But, but if you said, but some people still kept them, and, and I really appreciate that, because that's such a relic, you know what I mean, in the journey.
Yeah, yo, shout out to your parents, man, for supporting. You know what I mean? They knew you was trying to do something. Hey, that was keeping you out of trouble, man. So shout out to your mom and dad. And shout out to your teacher who saw that and helped nurture that as well, man. Like, we need more people like that that's willing to nurture. When people or our young ones is trying to do some amazing stuff, they don't know where they want to go with it yet, but they got an idea, and all they need is somebody to believe in it and help support it, man. So shout out to all three of them, yo.
Nah, for real.
Yeah, man. Yo, so are you trained on any instruments, or you just like you hear samples, or you hear music differently and then you just create that way?
So I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like fully kind of like classically trained on anything. Like, I did play in elementary school when it was just like, the music class and you had to pick up an instrument and do stuff like that. I actually used to, and I don't know if it was, I think you might have mentioned this in the episode with Nothing New, but you played trumpet at some point in school, right? Or am I tripping?
Yeah, 5th grade, yeah.
Okay, heard you. Yeah, that was me.
Hey.
That was me in 4th grade. Trumpet, bro. I was just like, oh, me and this man are gonna get along swimmingly, because
yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Nah, it was. I remember. What were we playing? There was a song. It's like an old song, like a super old joint. I think it's called like "Let's Go to the Hop" or something. Mm. And I think that's what we were playing. But I do not have those chops anymore. But I also used to play. My dad tried to get us into like music lessons. I guess this is like a family thing, like when your family kind of is just like, hey, like I want you to get involved in something that is dear to me. So it's like they kind of imprinted on you a little bit. Yeah. So he basically had lessons for my brother and I. My brother was playing guitar and I was trying and failing, but like trying to learn violin when I was around like, I want to say 10 or 11. So which I give props to anybody who plays that instrument. That is like light years above what I have the patience for. So, but nah, man. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, as far as for stuff recently, like, yeah, I mean, I just kind of like dig through a lot of different samples. I'm personally like a huge lover of 90s R&B, like 80s, 90s R&B. I just feel like they have a lot of just like these silky kind of grooves and that you can just really kind of find pockets in and like that people really want to hear. Also, like I will give a big shout out to like 80s, 90s, like gospel stuff too. Cause that stuff you can find some crazy chops in. But yeah, I work in a little bit of keyboard stuff now, like a little bit, like just playing like chords and stuff, but not really anything classically trained or like knowing theory really, really well. If I just kind of have it in my head, I just try to play it, or I try to just have it play out as I can. And then, just see what we can drop into FL.
Nice, yo. So you're experience trained, yo. Like that's the best part, man. So you definitely got your like 10,000 hours in, you know what I'm saying? And putting in the work. So that's all you can do basically if you're not classically trained. Just experience, man, and just messing around and then figure out how to do it, yo.
That's really it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of how I learned. Like, I really didn't have like someone to kind of like show me the proper way to like make beats or make a song or anything. It kind of just was, my brother downloaded FL Studio on her computer one day. He kind of was messing with it for a couple days and then was sick of it. And I just kind of was learning my way around it and kind of just being a tinkerer of sorts.
Nice. Yo, shout out to FL gang. Yo, I know y'all out there, yo.
You already know how we do.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yo, so okay, you got your mom, your dad, you got your brother that's like into music, tinkering and stuff like that. Like what were y'all listening to as you were growing up? Like what type of genres were y'all listening to?
We were listening to, honestly, like a little bit of everything. Like my mom would allow us to listen to a lot of like hip hop and stuff like that growing up. So I always had vivid memories for some reason of being in the car with my mom, my aunt, and my brother, and they just were letting us listen to DMX when he came on the radio. So like that was very, very interesting to be like a small child and like, you know, your mom's a fan of like rap and hip hop. So we would listen to like, we'd be riding around and I'd hear like, you know, 50 Cent, like G Unit, you know, listening to a lot of, if you hear a cat meow in the background, my cat's walking around. So sorry, I just want to let y'all know. You'd be like, what the heck is that sound? We used to, it was always very diverse. My father was always big on like, whenever we were taking drives and trips as kids, like we would always be listening to like Quiet Storm, like Kiss FM, CD 101.9 type stuff. Like, so, I mean, literally like Al B. Shore, Keith Sweat, you know, I'm trying to think of who else, Sister Sledge, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of just kind of like Temptations too. Like it was always, I think about it, I had such a wide range. And then my brother was really the one that started getting me into like kind of like rap and hip hop on a more like kind of deeper level. So he was listening to a lot of like Southern hip hop, as well as like Midwest hip hop as well. And just kind of showing me the ropes for guys like Currency, Larry June, stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was a very diverse pot of music. But I'd say definitely a lot of like Quiet Storm, R&B, kind of chill stuff, as well as some more kind of like aggressive hip hop in certain spots.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely get that vibe when I when I hear your music. I definitely get the R&B vibes. Like you definitely, you know how to chop. Like I'll try and chop R&B, man. I don't know, man. It's a little bit complicated for me, but you got it, bro. Like you on it, yo.
Man, thank you, bro. Nah, I appreciate that, man. Like for real. Like it was funny because my homie Dre, he was just like, you know, your music, it sounds like you like raided someone's auntie's like record collection and just started chopping up. I was like, damn, like that's the best description I've ever received of what I make. So yeah, no, honestly, that's the thing. I just want people to like, I don't know, if I could chop stuff up properly, you know what I'm saying, and make it sound good on an R&B tip, I'm just like, it's almost like making sweet potato pie, but in the form of a beat. That's kind of what I want it to be like to people.
Nice. It's November 2. Your sweet potato pie is coming out right now.
Hey, you know? Listen, I shouldn't have said that because now I'm making myself hungry.
Yeah, man. Yo, I like the way you think about when you know what I mean, you creating your beats, like, because it's when you say sweet potato pie, man, it just gives you that, yo, we around family. It's a feeling good feeling. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you see sweet potato pie around, it's always laughter, love, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Damn, that's a good analogy, bro.
Nah, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So you already said like how you got into making beats and stuff like that, but I want to know like, how did you know it was time for you to release your beats to the internet and let other people hear your beats?
Oh man, I think it was just kind of like a feeling of just like I need to go for it, and I just, you know, you never know who's gonna like it. You know what I mean? I always had, when I first started in music and I was trying to show my stuff and shop my stuff to people, there was a lot of criticism. So I quickly kind of developed like a thick skin because, you know, I mean, growing up in New York, if you're doing anything creative and it's trash, people are gonna tell you. Like, they're gonna tell you very directly and sternly, like, "Hey, this ain't it, bro."
Yeah, that's
so.
that's
So
that
like,
East Coast vibe, bro. That's that East Coast for real.
yo, that's legit. Like, you better come correct, because if you don't, you getting booed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but no, I think I really just kind of like was in the trenches, kind of working on my craft and receiving kind of like, you know, a lot of kind of positive reinforcement from people that were producers and were like, yo, like you should put it out, because you never know who's gonna appreciate it. I got to give a big shout out to this cat, Negro Saki, who there was like an era of like YouTube Adult Swim bump-esque style beats being made, and I want to say I was like early. That was kind of like late 2000s, so like 2000, maybe like 7, 8ish, around there. But he was one of the first people that I sent like a project to, and he was just kind of like, you know, like, yeah, man, like keep going with it, you know, keep expanding on your style, like giving kind of constructive criticism and in a way where it was helping me and not just like harming me in a sense.
Nice.
So yeah, man. So after that, I mean, I felt like I was doing stuff that was pretty weird and unorthodox. My very first kind of few projects, I had a habit of always like, I had an affinity for like reversing samples. So like, I just kept doing that for a lot of tracks and then piecing drum breaks together with it. And I was like, oh, this sounds like kind of decent. It's weird, but it sounds, you know, kind of cool. And I was just like, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. So, you know, it's just a better thing for me to put it out. And you never know when even just one person can relate to the project or like it. And that opens up a whole world. So, yeah, no, once I felt like I had like a distinctive kind of style for myself, at least in that moment, I was like, all right, like I'm gonna put this out and, you know, hopefully people rock with it.
Nice, yo. Like shout out to, you said Negro Saki?
Yeah, yo. Crazy producer, yo. Crazy producer. Like he's been around for a minute and has always been the GOAT. Like has always been super supportive and just the utmost kind of like almost look at him like a sensei almost. So yeah, shout out to that man.
Yeah, shout out to Negro Saki, man. It's helping like man, he was kind of like your mentor in a way, man. Right?
Yeah, man. Like, nah, for real. Like, I mean, I never like. It was a thing where it was like we didn't have super extended like dialogues all the time, but in the moments where I'd like comment on something or hear something new from him, and we talk in those little kind of pockets of time, he always would drop like knowledge gems and nuggets like every single time. So, you know, yeah, no, that's really the GOAT. At least at a level where it's like you see where you kind of want to go production level wise, and here's someone who is willing to kind of like almost like come down off of, I don't want to say a pedestal, but kind of like be like, oh, like just super approachable and super friendly and willing to help and being as great as they are. So yeah, it's just a crazy experience, man. So shout out to him. That's definitely a guy that has done a lot for me.
Yeah, man. Yo, I appreciate Negro Saki for even doing that, man, because it got you this far and you still going, man. So I applaud anybody that's a mentor. Like you got mentors all over the place right now. You got like you got DiBiase that's in Sacramento. You got Maz Rock that's you know what I mean, that's mentoring. You even got Raz Fresco in Toronto. You know what I mean? That's like, yo, you got a lot of people in New York. You got Nothing New that's doing their thing. Like you got Brown Jewel Beats. That's like, yo, it's a lot of people that's mentoring the young kids, man. That's a great thing to do, man, especially for hip hop and where we are. And it's the crazy thing about it is they're far reaching. It's not just locally where they're staying. Like with technology, your reach is even further now. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh, it's just so crazy, man. Like, you know, like sitting down and like looking at how far and wide the music can go. I mean, I remember interacting with people and just even selling like merch and stuff, like seeing people from like, you know, like Taiwan, people from Thailand, people from Japan, or people from like London and everything, like to see that they're tapped in and like they like are willing to spend the bread on a body of work and literally write a message and be like, yo, like, you know, your music is super dope. Like it's helped me through this, that, and the third. Like it means a lot, you know, and to have that worldwide reach, you know, from a small, you think you're just a blip on the map, really, you know, like it's incredible.
I almost want to say they need to call you Worldwide Radicule. You know what I'm saying? Like yo, you all over the world, man. Like, for real, yo.
Listen, yo, I'm trying, man. I'm trying my best.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, okay. So speaking of that, like, so you've been, you got people tapped in from all over the world, I'm pretty sure your music, the music that you listen to is from people all over the world as well. But I want to tap in on if you know or can name one beat as your greatest beat of all time, like a beat that you heard or a song that you heard that just blew your mind when you heard it and it still sticks with you to this day.
Oh, damn. Oh my God. See, I was trying to mentally prep for this question, but it's
Yeah, you can.
it still throws me off every time. Okay. Damn. Okay, you know what? Okay. I do have two. Okay. So one is this joint called Sweet Day by Gldnmnd. And the other is Peaceland by Nujabes. Like the first joint from Gldnmnd, she actually, like, I saw her doing like a beat set one time on like YouTube or something. I forget what outlet it was for, but I saw her using the APC 40, which is what I use now for like my live shit too. So like she kind of cracked the door open for me as far as dipping my toe into the kind of like gear side of things. But that song, there's a couple different switch ups on that beat that are just absolutely incredible. And like, it's this like, almost like something you'd expect to hear soundtracking like a noir kind of film, like black and white, just rainy. Like it's such a dope track. And the joint by Nujabes, Peaceland, the backing like kind of horn sample that comes in on that song, it's just like so beautiful. Like I heard that when I was first starting to get into making beats, and you know, I was going through, you know, the Samurai Champloo soundtrack, and then I found Nujabes through there. Nice. And that's, man, that song and show, just phenomenal. Like classic materials that I think everybody needs to check out. But yeah, that song by him, it just was so beautiful, and just like, it literally felt like being enveloped by like a sunset. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really that peaceful and that spiritual. So nah, both those joints would have to be like, I'd say the two that blew me away and changed my brain patterns in some way, shape, or form.
Nice. Nice, yo. Like, oh man, yo. So you were talking about, you know, everybody needs to check out like Samurai Champloo. Like it's kind of like required watching, man. But if for my fellow mutants that may be listening and will listen in the future, I always ask this question: if you have people that are going to, you know, fellow mutants that are going to take a journey in music, what are some required like watch, must read, must listen to content that you would recommend to them? It could be a movie, a documentary, a book, a YouTube tutorial, shoot up a podcast, anything. What would you recommend?
Oh man, oh my God. Okay, so I'm gonna say for oh man, damn. Can I recommend two
However many
different
you
ones?
want, man. However many you want.
Okay.
For real. There's no limit, bro. There's no limit.
Copy. Okay. So one for sure that I would definitely recommend to people. I don't know where it's streaming at now, but there's this joint, The Art of Organized Noise, and it looks at the group, it looks at the production team behind Outkast, basically, like in their inception and at their genesis and at their peak. Super important. I definitely think that those guys are unsung heroes in hip hop a lot of the time that I think deserve way more recognition, because they really. I don't want to say they were the ones that put the South on the map as far as like rap and hip hop, but they definitely were major pillars in like bringing Southern hip hop to the forefront in recent years. So that's definitely a good one. I'm gonna go a little weird on this one. I'm gonna say Space is the Place. It's a Sun Ra like film from like I want to say that was maybe the 70s. I want to say maybe that it dropped, but I think they have the whole thing on YouTube, so that you can easily, I think, find. Just very trippy, black Afrofuturistic kind of type shit to watch. Like that's something that kind of like another thing that kind of just totally fluctuated my brainwaves when I watched it. And from a musical standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, and from just a black artistry standpoint as well. Dang, I'm trying to think. I had another one in my head. I would definitely say too. For the jazz heads, I would definitely say Cowboy Bebop. That's people know that, but people know that already. Like that's known. Yeah, I think that's. Oh, actually, and one last one. I think this one's on Hulu as well. So you might be able to find it there. But All the Streets Are Silent. It looks at kind of like the cross, kind of breeding and kind of collision of skateboarding, like New York City skateboard culture, and also like the golden era of like hip hop. So it looks like kind of like that intersection and how like skating skating was influenced by hip hop pouring into skating, and the two kind of coming together in a very cool way. So I'd say for those four, definitely. All the Streets Are Silent is phenomenal too. It's a great documentary.
Nice. And every time I ask that question, I always put those. If I can find them, I always put the link inside of the guest recommendations inside of the description of the show, so everybody can just click the link and go right to it, man. So because I mean, this is going to live on forever, and if you have it's so many people that's making amazing stuff, and it could get swept under the rug, you know what I mean, or kind of not swept under the rug, but kind of like drowned out because it's so much content. Like I just want people to see what y'all are tapping into, you know?
Nah, for real. That's super important. And I also will say there's just one last thing that came to my mind that I wanted to also give a big shout out to. There's this joint. Well, they're kind of like a hip hop focused kind of outlet, like hip hop business, kind of all that stuff too. Rap Portraits, and they do some pretty incredible like interviews of different artists, writers, psychologists. You know, it's a really cool like series and kind of like platform. And one of the dudes that is in charge of it, I think it's pronounced Yo. It's Yoh, and he used to, I think, write for DJ Booth and is a phenomenal writer as well, and music journalist in general. But Yeah, rap portraits. They did a series called Big Homie Tips, and I think the first guy on there was Fonte. And
Nice. Wow.
that brother, he has so much knowledge, bro. Like, I gotta give that man all the flowers, and rap portraits themselves. So I would definitely say rap portraits as well is an outlet and a kind of like, I guess, creative staple that people should definitely check out too. Just off the strength of like what they're doing right now, because it's really innovative stuff.
There ain't no future, that's all it is to it.
No future at all.
They killed Kennedy, they killed King, they killed Evans, they're killing all the people that do something for the black man, you know, that stood up for him.
By educating the people to the fact that they made racism the primary objective that the people have to deal with when we mainly have to deal with capitalism.
talk about a revolution, most people think violence, without realizing that the real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goals that you're striving for, not in the way you reach them.
Amazing recommendations. So now I'm gonna ask you about for you as far as how you're making your music. I know you said you use a Akai APC 40, FL Studio, some other gear to create your music, but are there any other pieces that you haven't mentioned already? And does each piece have their own kind of lane when you're creating your music?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So the APC 40, that joint is mainly for a lot of when I do kind of like I want to say, oh my God, my cat. Okay. Okay, we're refocused. So I would say the APC 40, that's definitely for a lot of my live performance stuff. So for triggering clips on the fly, assigning different effects to some of the knobs that are on there. So I kind of rigged it up so that way I can use it almost like it's an SP as far as the effects that the SP has. So through that, I have a program through Ableton called Tornado, which I definitely would recommend to all my plugin heads if you're listening. That joint is crazy. It basically gives you kind of all the sort of effects that a SP kind of has, but just in the form of a plugin on your computer. And yeah, I just run that directly through the APC once I have that connected through Ableton. And recently I started using, my pops actually gifted me this old Casio keyboard that he used to actually play on a lot. Just when he was working on music and doing his own thing. I'm actually going to see, let me grab the actual model of it. It's a Casio. I know it's a WK something. Where is this thing at? But yeah, I use that as well. I'm going to see if I can, I was trying to see what oh yeah, Casio WK 1630. That's the joint that I use now at the crib, just for playing little background bass lines and playing little synths and stuff like that. at least for a lot of the new stuff that I'm working on right now. So yeah, man, that's kind of like and then just my computer running FL. I mainly use my laptop. This is a 2017 MacBook Pro. And I just use that for like everything. Like that's like, where all the beats kind of happen. That's where all my design shit happens too. Like, that's kind of the hub. But that's kind of like a lengthy rundown of what we're working with.
Yeah, man. So and when you're talking about for the new music, I know S Rank Slaps #2 is coming out soon. We don't know when, but y'all need to be on the lookout because S Rank Slaps #1 crazy fire, like they don't even know if you oh gosh.
You give me too much credit, man. Thank you.
Man, like you earned it, bro. Like man, like but all right, let me go back because I don't want to get into I get ahead of myself because I'm gonna ask you about a few of your albums that just really stick out in my head that really left an impression on me. But let me ask you this, man. You're more than a beat maker, right? You are a writer, designer. Like you do graphic design. Like you do a whole bunch of stuff. Like as far as your merch and your album covers, are you doing all of those, or are you like in collaboration with other people?
Oh yeah. So with exception to and I gotta give the homie Nothing New. He mentioned our homie Kimani Swing Low. For people that don't know, Kimani is also a graphic designer as well. So basically, like he did the artwork for Ebony Eternal, and he did the artwork for the last single I dropped, Takatan Beam 2. So like he's absolutely phenomenal in everything that he does. And then outside of that, outside of those two kind of projects, everything else has just been me on the design for like all the artwork as far as for like albums, EPs, like product merch and everything like that. So yeah, but most of that, I want to say probably like 80%, 85% of catalog is just everything by me.
Yeah, man. So which one of those is your first love? Making beats. I know you said you started with MCing. Is it MCing, making beats, writing, designing? Like which one is your first love, yo?
Oh man, I'd say damn, you asked some good questions.
Hey, I got to, man. I got to.
I'm like, damn, okay. All right. I would definitely have to say my first love is making beats for sure. Like that was just the thing that kind of like when I first kind of started to get comfortable with it and acclimated to it, like it just completely changed my world and opened up so many different avenues to do new things and to just like meet new people and to create a sense of community. So that definitely is the kind of spark for everything else. And I think it's created kind of like a healthy bond to other things creatively for me too. So, if I'm ever feeling like I'm getting burnt out on the beat side of things, I can just pop on over. I can, I'll maybe write about something that I'm really passionate about, or I can, then go and do design work and everything. So it's kind of like, it has to be producing for sure, because that's kind of like the linchpin for everything else that then sprouted from it.
Nice. Yo, man, hey, you know what they say, man, you got to come correct till don't come at all. You know what I'm saying? So I got
facts.
For real, bro. Yo, so when you 90% of what you design, man. So now I'm gonna ask you about like some of your music. Now you got like 22 albums, like singles, EPs on your Bandcamp, man. So for everybody that's listening, man, go check out and support radicule.bandcamp.com, man. Check him out. Check out his website, radiculebeats.com as well, man. You 22 projects, albums, EPs on your Bandcamp, but you got some albums that include releases from like Head Massage Music and Roots of Society. Can you go into like those two? Are they two different labels? Are they both your labels? I mean, can you go into detail about them?
So yeah, so Roots of Society, that's actually like, that was kind of like the start of Radicule kind of coming into my own. That's the, you know, baby Rad. You know, so but yeah, they were a label based in, I want to say they were San Francisco or Sacramento, that they were based out of. But I know it was, I'm pretty more than sure, state-wise, it was Cali. I know that for sure. But yeah, they basically were one of the first people that really, and first groups that really liked what I was making at the time. It was very much a lot of like using just drum breaks and stuff like that, and kind of making almost making my rendition of like if I were to be on a Samurai Champloo soundtrack. Like that's basically the era and kind of like aura that I was at that point. And they were super supportive, like always good people, like, you know, always were super stoked to want to work with me and release work. So they were kind of like a very healthy and kind of nourishing introduction to the music industry, which is not a lot of people get that, to say the least. So it was cool working with a group that really wanted to see me grow and flourish, and you know, we're kind of starting from, you know, the ground up, as was I. So, and then Head Massage Music, that's actually my own kind of like imprint / like I guess it may become like a label at some point. But it's kind of like my own little creative little stamp right now. I had a homie who, I forget their name, but they hit me up and were talking to me about my music pretty much. And they were just like, oh yeah, man, you make such good music. It's like head massage music. And I was like, wait a minute, say that again. Cause like it just sounded so good from just the actual phrase, and then also the acronym, just HMM. I'm just like, I'm like, oh, that even sounds good. Like, so that kind of was, and really it was just kind of like when I listened to my music and I would listen back to it, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is really some stuff that, you know, you could play it at obnoxiously loud volumes and it'll still slap, but also you could play it and kind of get in your head a little bit, you know, and kind of relax and kind of simmer down and chill. So, yeah, so head massage music, that's pretty much what I've been dropping under as like my own little kind of like, you know, niche way of like, you know, it's my own imprint, collective label, But like, yeah, so that's basically the genesis of that too.
Nice, yo. Like you said, baby Rad, head massage. Yo, like, so what you been doing with head massage? Like, since I've been seeing it in your discography a lot lately, I've been noticing some PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like I gotta ask this. Like, is that how the system that you grew up with, PlayStation? Man, listen, I'm a Sony baby all day.
Baby. Okay. I'm a Sony and Nintendo baby. Like I growing up, we had the PS1. I remember vividly playing this game, Crash Bash, which was like Crash Bandicoot's version of like a Mario Party-esque kind of style. It's a dope. They need to bring that back. You just unlocked the memory, bro. But nah, that game left a huge impact on me, like, and the whole Crash Bandicoot series in general. But yeah, nah, like coming up, we always had like we had PS1, PS2. Yeah, man, that was my kind of like console of choice, like from jump as a kid.
Nice, yo, man, because it's definitely like when I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, nostalgia like a mother freaker right now. Like, like those are good memories, man, that we had when we was just playing video games, chilling, listening to music. You know what I mean? Like, Man.
Yeah, man. Nah, it's crazy, and that's how. And I mean, just thinking about it, looking back at some of those like games, and then going back to them. I think going back to them now as like an adult and as like a producer and musically minded, you then start to find like you then start to dive into the soundtracks of those games and just be like, oh man, these guys were insane for what they were making for some of these console games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yo, the soundtracks to the games as well, man. If y'all can find them, like, man, like they could have their own documentary, man. Just because the music that you were listening to as you're playing these games, man, has influenced crazy amount of, you know what I mean, beat makers, music producers, artists, like from generations. Like, I don't think they understood their impact as well, but that's somebody else's podcast. I don't know. I might branch off and make that mine, man. I don't know yet. You know, damn, I just thought of it. You just gave me an idea, bro.
Bruh, listen, yo, it's such a, I mean, I think that's honestly needed. Like, I think that's like, oh my God, I'd tune into every fucking episode. I mean, goddamn, like that's what I was like thinking like recently, like, cause now I'm way more attentive to the soundtracks for video games now. And so, you know, even recent stuff that I've been playing, like, you know, there's this joint I've been playing recently called Soul Hackers 2. And the soundtrack on that joint is just very lush and crisp and just like, it's just a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, yo, music on games definitely makes a big difference and really impacts the way you play, impacts the way you resonate with the game itself. So yeah, shout out to the video game soundtracks.
Yeah, and then when you're talking about soundtracks as well, man, like you got your own soundtracks. I feel like people need to hear. A couple of them to be specific: Ebony Eternal, Takatan 2, Beam 2, S Rank Slaps. Like, yo, those albums, man. Like I got the cassette, man. You sent it to me in Japan, by the way. So
hey, let's
yes,
go.
Yo, I got the what I can think it's called the Radicule card. That's kind of like the Subway card, yo. Like I got all of that, man. Like, yo, like what was the inspiration behind those three albums? The Ebony Eternal, S Rack Slaps. I keep saying Slaps. S Rack Rank Slaps and Takatan Beam 2, yo. What were your inspirations behind those?
Oh man. Okay, so I realize like with music and with a lot of anything I do creatively, like it's just really like letting my brain's imagination just go to like 10, you know,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and just letting everything kind of flow out. So with Ebony Eternal, I wanted to make like, I always kind of go through kind of like a storyboarding process with now the projects that I work on. And for Ebony Eternal, in my mind, I was thinking, you know, what would be the soundtrack to a trip on like a NYC subway line? So like, and for me specifically, it was the 6, which is one of the main trains that runs directly to the Bronx and that runs out of the Bronx as well. So I was like, what if there was some kind of like cosmic black force or being that hijacks this one New York City subway car and it transports all the way to like a civilization that's full of like black cosmic beings and stuff. So that was my thinking for what Ebony Eternal would sound like. So for that project, I wanted it to sound I did want it to sound a lot more, I guess, like cinematic in a sense, like as far as like the structuring of the project, because that was the first time I ever really kind of like seriously wanted to kind of like get the track order right and get the track listing right as well. So that was for that. S Rank Slaps, that actually I released during a time where I kind of, was going through a couple of different things, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And even though it's a small, EP, it was during a point where I kind of was just like, all right, I've had enough of all this crap in my life, and I need to just kind of like try to flush out some things and, kind of become the S rank version of myself. Because in a lot of Japanese like video games and fighting games and stuff, you go the ranking system, it'll be like, I think it's like, D, C, B, A for like mission completion, like how well you did. And so S rank is always the highest rank. So it kind of supersedes everything else. So I was like, it would be cool if I kind of did a project where I consider this like not only the best beats that I've been making up to date, but also this is a representation of me kind of evolving and growing to be a S rank version of myself. As cliche as that may sound. And for Takutan being 2, that's honestly just a nod to like my anime heads. There's a joint that I watch and read called Jujutsu Kaisen, which the character that's depicted on the front, the girl winking and doing the peace sign, and the guy kind of in the corner, kind of like wow, oh my god, she's so great. Like the dude doing that, he's like this muscle bound dude that's just like a beast in the actual series, but he has this insane affection and like the need to go to this like Japanese pop stars like meet and greets and like get a handshake from her. So like that's like his thing. So that was honestly just a nod to that, because I thought it was just kind of like a silly, cute little part of the show that I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like I kind of mess with this. So yeah, I think I touched on everything. I know I rambled, but
no, you're not rambling, man. Like, like how you thought about Everyday Eternal. Like, I worked at night when I was in Japan, man. So I'll just put the tape in and I listen to it while I'm just, like driving around and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, man, I feel like I'm really on this voyage in space, but on a train. Like how you even started it off. What did it say? It said the intro is the lady over the intercom was like, no, it was the guy that was on the intercom, like, yo, we going somewhere, don't even ask me, or something like that. It was
I did that whole skit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yo, amazing, yo. I was like, yo, like, so you did all of those skits on there?
So the one on the actual title track, that first little banter that's happening on the train. Yeah, I did that. I recorded like train sounds and like chopped those up when I was in the city, and then like I just kind of like did the audio for it, like just kind of wrote myself like a quick little script and just like read it. And yeah, man, so I did that, and I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if I had any other skits on there, but that was the one vocal clip that I for sure remember. Like I did and recorded it because I couldn't stop laughing after I was like trying to finish and mix it. But but yeah, nah, thank you, bro. Thank you. That's really like you kind of like picking up on that. And I was like, I know certain people will like, as soon as I put the bing like in there from the train, I'm like, anybody from New York or the tri-state is going to immediately probably know what I'm referencing here. And even in the tone of like the conductor of the train,
right?
like yeah, they don't care. MTA run on their own time. They don't run on your time.
Freedom for the slide. Like a horse.
Attention all 6 train passengers. Due to cosmic intervention from forces unknown, this train will be running express from Bay Park to Ebony Eternal. I repeat, this train will be running express from Bay Park to Ebony Eternal. So don't come up here bugging because we skipping your stop. Thank you for choosing Head Massage Music Transit Services. Stand clear of the closing doors and stand by for further knowledge from the powers that be.
Messing with my plate of yams.
You said about that. Took food out your mouth, messed up your plan. Slow down.
Right now, I think you got some cassettes, man. We need to sell you out, man. So y'all go ahead and support Ebony Eternal, man, with the instrumentals. I'm telling y'all, man, it's like, yo, you definitely took us on a trip with that album, man. Like, that was amazing, yo. That was an amazing album. Man.
Thank you, man. Nah, man, I literally, like, when I put it out, I was just like, you know, this is it. It felt right structure-wise, and I was just like, you know, if people vibe with the story and resonate with kind of the energy behind it, then hey, that's all I could ask for. I'm a happy man at the end of the day.
Right, yo, that's all we can ask for. And when y'all order it, man, you get your own Radicule card too, man. So, yo, I mean, who doing that? Like, who give you a Radicule card and a Ebony Eternal postcard, a holographic sticker? Like, yo, man, like, it's an amazing bundle, man. Like, man, collector's edition, bro. Like,
man, stop! Thank you, bro, man.
For real, man.
Got me blushing over here.
Yo, man. So, okay, I'm hearing all of these stories about what inspired you to, you know, make music and stuff like that. I gotta ask this, man. Like, can you, like, if you can, man, give it some thought. Can you name your childhood Beatmaker superheroes, and then as you've grown into the man you are, who are your adult Beatmaker superheroes?
Dang! Oh, nah, for sure. This is a good one. So as a youngin, as a young kid, I think superheroes were definitely cats like, you know, again, I got to give a big shout out to Negro Saki, like him for sure. Definitely Nujabes as well. Like, he literally, like, kind of set a part of the foundation as well. Dilla, of course, as well. I'm trying to think who else when I was a kid.
No genres off limits either, yo.
Oh, heard you. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to say that, man. That's my precursor, yeah. Like, no genre. Bet. It don't even matter, man. Any genre, yeah.
Bet. Damn, who else? Definitely, I gotta give shout out to Teddy Riley, like, as a kid, because I, like, went through a phase of just being like, I went through a New Jack Swing phase for, I want to say, at least like 3 or 4 years as a kid. And so learning about Teddy Riley and how he was kind of heading up a lot of the production that kind of forced that wave as well. Definitely the Neptunes as well. Dang, man, this is a good question. Toki Monster as well. As a kid, like, I started really, like, finding a lot of, like, more of kind of, like, finding my way through, like, the LA, like, beat scene and shit through her. And definitely Flying Lotus, of course. Like, that man is just a beast. And I'd probably say now, being older, definitely cats like Madlib, because I wasn't well versed in Madlib's discography when I was a kid. I kind of, like, found Dilla and then was so obsessed from there with him. But then as I grew older and started to listen to, like, stuff by, you know, the Beat Conductor, bro, like, he definitely is someone I look at as a superhero now as well. I also got to give a big shout to Obliv, because he is a beast, and one of the just a super nice guy, man. Like, you know, I remember meeting him for the first time at the show we played in Boston together a couple years ago, and just like talking to him and like dapping him up, and it's literally was like a when you meet your heroes, it's a good thing type of thing. Like, just super nice, super chill guy, and really has laid a crazy blueprint down for a lot of people to kind of like bounce off of as well. So and then yeah, I mean, as far as like I think a lot of my heroes now are like people that are to the left and right of me, like Nothing New, the homie Unusual, trying to think, my homie Bar as well, Melton. Like, these are like honestly, like anybody that I've hung out with probably in the past like year or 2 years, like I just look at them all as like superheroes, you know.
Right, yeah, Bars. That's the she's a MC and a producer, beatmaker, right?
Yep. Nah,
Yeah.
that's the homie right there.
Yeah. I'm trying to grab. It's so many people making amazing music. She's definitely one of them. Nothing Unusual. He's been on the show as well. Who else, man? I'm trying to get Obliv, man. If I could ever get him on the show, man. Yo, these are like bucket list joints too, man. So, man. Okay.
Nah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. The list is endless. That's why I'm just like, I'm sitting here and I'm like smacked and I'm mad at myself because I'm just like, there's a laundry list of names that should be printing from my brain, but you know, the printer is down right now. So.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all good, yeah. It's all good, man. Yo, so speaking of the people you just named, Bars and Nothing New, like what is the beat scene like where you are? Like, because I know there's a lot of different venues that's going out, like Donut Lounge, World MC. There's a lot of different things happening. Like, what is the beat scene like where you are? Yo?
Oh man, I mean, where I'm at, like, so I always tell people, and I have to always give that disclaimer. So like, where I'm at currently, I live about like an hour north of the city. So like, I always drive down and ride down to events and stuff all the time. Like, that drive is like, I know that way, frontwards, backwards, you know, any which way. So, but I definitely say in the city, like looking at the scene, is definitely a place where there's always something sprawling out. And I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that do some pretty amazing stuff, and are just very multiversed in a lot of different things and multifaceted. You know, it's crazy because you link with people over music and you link with people over, like, you know, the beat scene and beat culture. And then once you kind of are able to peek behind the curtain a little bit, there's almost like, I almost say it's like you're peeking behind a curtain and then you see another full-blown circus of just cool shit that's going on that, you know, that some people are like, you know, that's just what I do, you know, I don't really talk about it that much. And it's like, nah, like, you know, it's interesting to see so many cool people doing their thing and how they rope in these kind of external influences as well. But I definitely say it's always growing, it's always bustling, it's always like interesting seeing new people, and it's wild to see that there are people that are, you know, that come from all over the place to just kind of be a part of our scene. I mean, I have homies that, you know, travel down from Massachusetts. I have homies from, you know, Vermont and from Maine and stuff that come down, you know, to try to get on bills and get on shows. So it's always a very bustling and kind of ever-changing scene in a sense. And I know recently I got to give major props to the homie Faraz as well, because he had me on for this collective Off the Scene. They recently just did, they're kind of like a relaunching of like their residency, or like kind of like grand opening, in a sense, of a residency at this place, Rise Radio in Brooklyn. So Yeah, first Saturday of every month they're doing that now. So it's always great to see new collectives that care about the culture sprawl forth and kind of start to plant their flag. So it's always changing, and it's always changing, hustling and bustling kind of energy, you know.
Nice. Yeah, I think I have off the scene, man. I think I got a beanie from them, man. Is that are they based in New York or are they based in Canada?
They're based in New York now. Yeah, like we're running everything. They're running everything out of Brooklyn. So I want to say, I don't know if they were. I feel like it's escaping me. I thought that they were like doing stuff down in Atlanta at one point, but that I might be mixing that up with a totally different like collective. But yeah, no. But they're now in New York now, I think, for like the foreseeable future.
Okay, yeah, because they got a clothing line as well. That's pretty dope. So anybody that's checking out clothing, go ahead and support Off the Scene as well, man. They got some dope stuff. I gotta get a few hoodies from them as well.
I was able to open up the flower of life properly and find the real wave conjugations that we've been looking for 10,000 years. Why would I continue, walking on water for tips?
We are not celebrating lives. We are celebrating life. Hey, all the beautiful family members that is in the building, please make some noise to celebrating life.
Yeah, this is an amazing interview from the one and only Radicule Beats, man, episode number 71. I gotta ask this. You've been in this game for about, was it, you said 12, 13, 14 years?
Roughly about that, yeah, man.
So what's one thing you wish you knew before you started on this music and art creation journey?
I always think I'm prepared for these questions, and I'm not. You know what? I would say, I would have definitely, just instilling into myself the notion of like, keep going, keep finding your sound, and don't feel like, you should quit. Because I think there was a time between when I was, I want to say 15 to like 17, 18, like there was a 3 or 4 year span where I just really wasn't working on music like that anymore. And I just kind of felt like I was very, almost in a sense, defeated. I mean, that I was being melodramatic at that point. I'm like, I'm a kid. I had decades ahead of me, but like, I was just being a little melodramatic as a kid. But basically, I think just feeling like, oh man, like nobody really likes this. Nobody's gonna really want to hear this. I think I wish I would have, if I could go back in time, I would drill that message into my head as a kid a lot earlier and sooner, that, you do need to have a little bit of a tough skin, because there's gonna be way more no's than there are yeses. So, but when you do get those yeses, make sure that you, give thanks properly. Always have kind of grace and be cordial about those situations, which I think I do a good job with now, as far as like making sure I give a proper amount of gratitude to the people that are taking their time to spend, time either writing about my work, or posting about it, or telling other people about it. It's crazy, but I think that's the real thing. Just kind of going back and telling myself to have more gratitude for certain situations. Because I mean, I had a situation recently, like a year ago, where this dude, shout out my homie Skippy, he is like one of the goats as far as like keeping up with my catalog and everything. He actually wore one of my shirts and brought the S-Rank Slap CD to a show for another group or band or something, and literally like met another guy there that liked the design and liked the cover art, and literally on the spot, that guy went and bought a CD right at that show from his phone.
Nice.
And so it's like, man, it's wild. So I think like I definitely would tell my younger self, like, yo, like, you know, keep grinding, like don't get as discouraged as you may want to get. Because when you find the people that really, really rock with you and really mess with your work, like they'll almost make other people conform. Like they will legit, like it'll be on some corruption, like some virus shit. Like they'll go and be like, nah, you need to listen to this. This man is dope. So it's crazy, bro. Like people, you know, if you have that gratitude and you take that time to show love and thanks and appreciation to the people that pour that into you, oh man, they'll go out and be your greatest army. You know what I mean?
Right, man. Yo, I definitely understand, like, as tough skin is a definite, like, that's a requirement now, man, because some people don't have tough skin, man, and they kind of like they kind of like talk themselves out of experiencing something amazing just because they heard no, and it was like the only no they heard, but that's like 1,000 no's to them, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I definitely agree with you when you're talking about tough skin, but then also just putting it out there, put yourself out there, and people, like you said, gonna be your greatest asset, man. Like I've been tapped in for a while, man. I appreciate what you do with your art and what you do with your music. I'm like one of your biggest, I'm like your street team, bro. I'm like your street team.
Yo.
For real.
Listen, man, we gonna be out on them corners together, slanging tapes.
I'm saying? For real, man. Like, yo, what you did with, and I keep going back to this, man, just because, like, whenever somebody mentions, like, yo, they got something coming out, like, if it's on this level, like, yes, I'm definitely supporting it, but I support almost anybody that I feel like they're dope. What you did with Ebony Eternal, with the card, the postcard, the Radicule card, like it was a feeling with that, man. It wasn't just, hey, I'm gonna just wrap it up in wrap the cassette up in some cardboard and be like, all right, here you go, type of thing. Like you really put thought, effort, love into that, you know what I mean? Like as a presentation for you, man. So I really appreciate that coming from you, bro.
Nah, thank you, bro. Like, and honestly, like that's all I ever kind of like strive for, you know. It's definitely like not even necessary, like definitely taking risks, you know what I mean? Because you gotta risk it for the biscuit in some cases, but you know, like
no biscuit, no biscuit. Yeah.
Exactly. So but nah, like I realized, like, you know, I think as I got older in music and older just doing things creatively, I think, you know, and this is not to be cliche or anything, but like I wanted to make sure that anybody that ever, like, you know, supported the work or chose to you know, invest anything, like whether it be time, money or anything like that into what I was doing, what I give back to them, it's an experience. I want you to feel like, you know, you're transported to a totally different world. And it's not on some BS, you know what I mean? Like, so I always like to make sure that people, when they receive something from me, it's stamped like, you know, it's like homemade cookies almost, you know what I mean? Like, you know, yeah, it might be a little sloppy and rough around the edges, but it was made with love. So, and that's what makes it all the more better.
That should be the best too. It ain't gotta be perfect. Yeah, man. Yeah, I get you, yo. I also want to point out, man, like what you did for Beats Buffet Radio, Beats Buffet.
Oh yeah. They the homies, man. Yeah, the Day in the Life joint. Yep. Yeah,
what you did with that was dope. That was amazing, man. That was just another reason why I was like, yeah, I'm definitely tapped into this guy, man. Yo, that was dope, man.
Nah, thank you, bro. Nah, honestly, I gotta give huge props to them, because like when they hit me with the concept, I was just like, man, I loved it. I'm the type of dude that just like give me the sun is the sun shining, it's beautiful out. We'll go hit these little quick licks and these basic everyday errands, but I'm gonna try and make it sound pretty fly. So that's really it. You know what I mean? And they really kind of helped to give me an outlet to just like, I guess, just be like, just on some chill, regular human type stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cats that need that. You know what I'm saying? Just relatable stuff to like watch or listen to. So yeah, I got nothing but love for them, and they really, I'm glad that also resonated for you as well, for real.
Yeah, man. Yo, so as we round this out, man, I gotta ask you, what should the internets and the listeners look out for from Radicule in the rest of 2022 and going into 2023, man?
So, okay. So I definitely will say S Rank 2. We've been talking about that for a little minute now. So now I really, man, that joint, we got that coming out top of the year in January. So that's going to be coming out then, and there's going to be a lot of good stuff to come with it. I mainly just been kind of taking my time with it just to, figure out how I want to roll it out and just kind of finding the best way to do it. And I think I've finally cracked the code on that. So now it's just a matter of taking the time to like gather all the materials physically to get that rolled out in the best way proper. But yeah, man, like January, that's when we drop it again, and we're gonna have some little surprises lined up right thereafter. So I can't speak on too much, but
right.
But I'm definitely just trying to make sure I get everything, all my ducks in a row, so. But definitely early January, that's when we're looking at kind of coming out the hyperbolic time chamber again with it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one, man. I'm excited for everything you got coming up in 2023. How can the internets tap into you and your music, and like how can they get in and just follow you on social medias and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty much like, if you search up Radicule on most socials, I'll be the one that sticks out like a sore thumb. So you can follow me on IG, Twitter. We got the website as well, so radiculebeats.com. Literally, the site built that kind of from scratch using Wix and stuff, and all the little background graphics and stuff, we handled that as well. So if you want a more rounded and full experience in HD, 4K, 5K, all the Ks, definitely hit up the website. And on Bandcamp as well. I'm still dropping stuff on there. We still gonna be throwing up little loosies here and there on there as well pretty soon. So, but yeah, just RADICULE pretty much everywhere.
Hey, listen, man, what you did with radiculebeats.com, I'm like, I am amazed, man. Like that shit is, like I never seen anything like that before, bro. Like that shit, like how'd you come up with this concept?
Man, I mean, honestly, I just was like, like there's a dude on Twitter, Sto, STO. I think his @ is Big Sto. But he does a lot of kind of like consultation work and things of that nature for music and artists, and how to kind of like better, I guess, the brand in a sense. But I mean, that man was really going hard about artists getting a website and having your own kind of digital footprint in case anything ever happens with, these social media apps, which there's been a lot going on. So I'm just like, I wanted to make kind of like my own little kind of hub on the net for people to see, like, as soon as you go in, the graphic design stuff is in the background going, like, that's already appealing to the eye. And, I just wanted to kind of create my own little kind of catty corner for everything. I almost think of it like when in certain shows, like in certain kind of like cruise shows or whatever, where they have like the little bar set up on the beach, Like, I almost think like that's kind of how I thought of like what I wanted the website to feel like. Just kind of like this little peaceful oasis, kind of tucked away from the madness. You could just come, you know, we got music, we got graphic stuff. You know, you could come and kick your feet up and also take a little journey with me through, you know, what we got to offer. So yeah, man, I just wanted to make it like really kind of aesthetically pleasing, but also like a place where people could go and really have like an experience away from all the madness.
Amazing job, bro. Like that's like,
thank you, bro.
That shit is amazing, man. I'm looking at the website. I'm like, holy shit! Like this is on some next level. Like, you know how we got like Web 3 is supposed to be going. What's it supposed to? No, we got Web 2.0. We're supposed to be going to Web 3.0. Like, yo, man. Like if you doing this, I can imagine what you're gonna do. Like in this whole metaverse type of world type of thing, man. Like you got your own like universe. It feels like, you know what I'm saying?
That, bro, yo, see, man, you just made my day, because that's just like that's what I be striving for, bro. Like really at the end of the day, like I just want to be able to have people come away from interacting with my work as like, you know, a good time, that they be like, you know what, like I'm gonna pull up again. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of just the energy I wanted to have with everything, bro. Like just make it a dope experience, and kind of just you walk in and you're in a totally different realm than, you know, where you were before.
Yeah, man, amazing job, man. So listen, everybody, all the listeners, man, if you made it to this point, thank you for tapping into episode number 71 of the Rec Show podcast with my special guest, Radicule Beats, man. Yo, he's the father of head massage music, a beat horticulturalist, writer, designer, your favorite beat bohemian, man. Go ahead, support him on Bandcamp, support the website. Yo, check him out, man. Yo, I'm excited for when you come out with these Radicule do-rags, bro. I'm excited, man.
Yo, damn, nah, bro. Hey, listen. Now you just gave me, man. Okay,
yeah.
That's what's coming next. Cause, yo, all right, yeah, you just.
That's your signature, bro. That's your signature, bro. Like, yo, man. Yo, I'm excited for it, man. So thank you for coming on the show, man. And yo, I can't wait to kick it with you again whenever you come out with your new stuff in 2023. Thank you, and it was an honor, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, appreciate you too, man. For real. And a big shout out to anybody listening and anybody tuning in. Like this, I appreciate y'all so much, eternally, for real.
Yeah, man. So that's the end of the show. Yo, I want to thank y'all for tapping in. If you can, go ahead and follow the Rec Show podcast on Twitter, on Instagram. Go ahead to Gldnmnd.bandcamp.com. Become a subscriber, which directly supports the show. Everything that Radicule Beats recommended and talked about, I'm going to put a link in the description of the show so you can go ahead and just check out what he recommended, all the things that he was talking about as well. And as always, man, make sure y'all taking care of y'all chickens, all right? Peace and love, yo.
I can't even do it!
I knew you would come. You have no idea how happy this makes me. Ever since I returned from the continent, everyone has feared me. Not one of them was intelligent enough to recognize my strength, in spite of the fact that my skills were far superior, even the ones who they call masters. That is why I decided to teach them a lesson, and I showed them exactly who is the strongest.
Why don't we just get this started? I don't need another pointless story.
Fine, whatever you say.
Thank